Students, now we will see the financial powers. In that, at first we will see the budget. Budget is the work of finance ministers. Finance ministers prepare the annual budget containing the estimates of income and expenditure for the ensuing year. For the whole year's income and expenditure are just contained in that budget, and that is prepared by the financial ministers with the help of his assisting ministers. Though the budget is passed by the parliament, usually no changes are made in the budget figures against the wishes of cabinet. In that, the role of cabinet is also important. Any amendment to the budget proposals against the wishes of cabinet that may passed by the Lok Sabha amounts to a vote of no confidence in the ministry. Means if any changes or amendments want to do by the ministers at that time, they should have to take help of the Lok Sabha members, and they should pass the no confidence motion, and then only they can do changes in the budget. It happens only when the ministry has lost the support of the majority in the Lok Sabha. In such a situation, the ministry must resign. If that issue is just raised at that time, the ministry, the Council of Ministers should resign. Second point or second financial power is the finances of the government. The cabinet is responsible for the expenditure of the government. What is income is there with the cabinet. That is the responsibility of the cabinet to expend it in a proper way. For precedenting the demand for grants and also for raising necessary income by various means including taxation. Means what? That grants and income is used for the expend, and that calculation or that record should be present by the cabinet. Even a money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. That is also the part of the financial power that should be introduced by the Lok Sabha members. Now we will see the emergency power. Here we can see the emergency power. In that we can see the president cannot declare a proclamation of general emergency under Article 352 of the Constitution. Means at first he should declare without receiving in writing. Means that is mentioned in Article 352 that without he did not get any writing decision by the cabinet, up to that he could not declare the general emergency. After getting information or after getting writing decision by the cabinet, only after that he can declare the emergency, national emergency or general emergency. Similarly, the questions of proclamation of financial emergency and the president's rule in a state are also decided by the cabinet. Even in a state, the governor's rule was started whenever there was no declaration of the majority party. Now students, we will see the position and powers of the Prime Minister. While the President is a nominal head of the state with the backing of a majority in the Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister is the real head of the nation. But in a parliamentary democracy, his dates are closely judged not only by the opposition but also his members of his own party. They are also observing the work of the Prime Minister. If he tries to assume dictatorial tendencies, he cannot escape a loss of confidence of the parliament. Means he could not take decision in a dictatorial way. He should has to take support of his ministers, and in another way he should have to take support of his oppositional parties. Also, he should clarify his opinions of or his deeds during his tenure as well as that of the electorate in the following general elections. Thus, he is the head of the government and answerable to the people of the country. In power and functions of the cabinet, we can just see that cabinet can fulfill the powers, administrative powers, legislative powers, powers during emergency, and in the financial, and also they can complete the financial powers. Now we will see the relation between the prime minister and the president. All authority is vested in the president, is exercised by the prime minister. Means whatever decision is taken by the president that are suggested by the prime minister. Prime minister is the principal advisor to the president. The president is the nominal head and the prime minister is the real executive of the Indian Union. It is on the advice of the prime minister. The president is on the advice of prime minister. President is summoning and prorogues the parliament and dissolves the Lok Sabha. President is working as per the suggestion of prime minister, and prime minister is working as per the suggestion of council of ministers and cabinet. Prime minister chooses the ministers and on his advice the president appoints them. That is the wish of prime minister, to whom he could appoint as per the minister, and as per his suggestion president is appointing to the ministers. The ministers may be dismissed on the advice of prime minister by the president. Even prime minister advising to president on various appointments like important posts of judges of Supreme Court and High Court, the governors and the ambassadors. He is the link, prime minister is the link between the president and the council of ministers. Whatever suggestion he got, whatever decision he got from the president, that is his responsibility to inform that to the council of ministers. Our constitution is laying down that it shall be the duty of prime minister to communicate to the president all decisions of the council of ministers. And what are the messages of council of ministers that should be conveyed by the prime minister towards the president? A minister cannot discuss any matter of national policy with the president on his own. Means he should discuss that with prime minister first, and then prime minister gave that information towards the president. President can ask the council of ministers to reconsider any matter which has not been considered by the cabinet and on which a decision has been taken by a minister. Means president can ask to the council of ministers what type of work they are doing, what decision they have taken. Even president may call for information regarding the affairs of union, and prime minister has to furnish such information. That work is done by the prime minister. Now we have to see that what type of work is done by the prime minister, or what is the relation of the cabinet and the prime minister. He is the leader of the cabinet. As per he is the leader of the cabinet, head of the cabinet. No provision is made in the constitution for the appointment of different categories of ministers, such as ministers of the cabinet rank, ministers of state and deputy ministers. The prime minister has the liberty to decide on these matters. As per he is the leader of the cabinet, that is his responsibility to appoint various ministers for that various post. Now we have to see the powers to locate portfolios and reshuffle Now we have to see the powers to locate the portfolios and reshuffle the Council of Ministers. It is the Prime Minister who allocates departments and portfolios to the minister. That is the responsibility of Prime Minister to allot various portfolios or departments to the ministers. Even he can reshuffle the Council of Ministers whenever he pleases. Means, for example, he appointed any minister as per the Education Minister and another one as per the Communication Minister. But whenever he is thinking that minister should complete the work of agriculture, then he can just shift or reshuffle that minister toward the agriculture department as per his wish or as per he pleases. Now, power to select and dismiss ministers. The Prime Minister choosing the ministers, and he has the power to dismiss them too. Even he can ask an erring minister to resign. Erring means erring. The minister who is not completing his work properly, then that is in the hand of Prime Minister to dismiss that minister. Even now we will see the power to direct and coordinate policy of the Prime Minister. In that, the Prime Minister coordinates the working of various departments. Even he is getting information from that specific minister about that department, and even he can just look towards administration which is carried out smoothly or not. In critical matters such as foreign affairs, defense affairs, economic and technological affairs, he coordinates the policy of government. Means what? At the same time, various types of ministers are working together. At the last, we can just see the resignation of the minister. It is counted that the resignation of the Prime Minister means the whole ministry's resignation. Now we have to see the work of Prime Minister inside the Parliament. Prime Minister is working as per the leader of the Lok Sabha. It is said that the Prime Minister is the leader of majority party. Means in short, he is the leader of the whole Lok Sabha house. Whenever the Prime Minister is speaking, or he is just speaking about the government, that's why he's called as per the chief spokesman of the government. He makes all important announcements on national policies on the floor of the house. Then he is the defender of the government policies. Prime Minister defends the government. Prime Minister defends the government in the Parliament. When a policy or a minister comes under attack in the Parliament, the Prime Minister comes to defend the issue involvement. He is involving himself to protect that specific minister or the decision by that specific minister. Now we have to see the next point, that is the intervention in case of controversial issues. There are some controversial issues are just raising in the houses, such as the language issue, center-state relation issues, price rise, atrocities on women over which member lose their minister or members lose their temper. At that time, the Prime Minister is just intervenes in that. If an ugly situation arises in any of the house, the matter generally ends with the intervention of the Prime Minister. Whenever the Prime Minister is involving in that matter, automatically that matter comes to an end. Means what? He is taking the right decision. That is the belief. Now we have to see the Prime Minister as the leader of the nation. The Prime Minister is representing the whole nation. As per you have seen or studied about the UNO, United Nations Organization. In that United Nations Organization or in any international meeting, whenever the Prime Minister is presenting or available in that meeting, he is leading the whole nation. When he speaks, the whole nation is supposed to be speaking through him. That is the belief. During the national crisis like war, even even the opposition parties support the prime minister at that time. Even we have seen various types of issues, and that the opposition parties are also supporting to. Whenever prime minister is speaking, at that time it is believed that the whole nation is speaking.